Forget the actual Academy Awards. The true pinnacle of Hollywood exclusivity is the legendary Vanity Fair afterparty. It remains the ultimate post-ceremony bash, where every showbiz heavy hitter practically begs for access. Freshly crowned Oscar winners march straight from the governor's ball to this very room, knowing full well that these are the flashes that truly capture history. Pop sensation Dua Lipa commanded attention, while Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet flaunted perfectly synchronized ensembles. Kendall Jenner stunned in pale blue, while icons like Bella Hadid and Cara Delevingne effortlessly commanded the room. On the evening of March 15th, 2026, the absolute highest echelon of fame descended upon the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Yet, when a reporter shoved a microphone toward Alysa Liu on that blinding red carpet, her opening statement was simply, "Word on the street is they have In-N-Out burgers inside, so I am honestly just hyped for that." Not a single whisper about her haute couture gown. Zero mentions of Louis Vuitton. She completely bypassed how surreal it felt, being the nation's most heavily discussed sports icon, crashing the most hyped gathering on the planet. In-N-Out. That iconic West Coast fast food joint, a comforting staple of her Oakland roots ever since she secured her driver's license. Digital crowds caught wind of the footage and instantly hailed her undeniable, raw authenticity. A solitary post featuring her, quote, exploded, raking in tens of thousands of approvals within mere hours. After all, this specific soiree is notoriously packed with stars, desperately projecting their most polished, artificially perfected personas for the glaring lenses. Then this skater waltzed in, totally fixated on cheap takeout, a single, brilliant red carpet snapshot that perfectly distills the absolute essence of who she is. Toss her into any elite environment. She remains fundamentally unaltered from the girl she was yesterday. Let us examine her complete wardrobe breakdown and dissect exactly why those stylistic choices matter so deeply. For the main event, she stepped out in an avant-garde Louis Vuitton black mini-gown, boasting dramatic shoulder pads, intricate gray floral patterns, and obsidian beadwork. Dark hosiery and razor-sharp stilettos anchored the breathtaking ensemble perfectly, while her highlighted tresses fell into a relaxed half-ponytail, perfectly paired with smoldering eyes, an edgy piercing, and one solitary ring. Hours before this grand appearance, she had already commanded the Elton John AIDS Foundation 2026 viewing gala in sharply tailored dark trousers, a sleek blazer, and a silky ivory turtleneck. Two jaw-dropping wardrobe transformations flawlessly executed in just one night. The former exuded quiet, sophisticated restraint, while the latter exploded into a heavily embellished, architectural masterpiece designed for maximum impact. Both magnificent creations originated exclusively from the luxury house of Louis Vuitton. Leading style publications highlighted her recent front-row dominance at their Paris showcase on March 10th, echoing a burning question currently consuming the entire fashion industry. Could a monumental ambassador contract be looming? The mounting evidence is undeniably staggering, beginning with her high-profile Parisian debut. Rocking the exact same luxurious label twice within a 6-day span proves an undeniable, fierce loyalty to their distinct aesthetic. This is the very empire that supposedly waged a cutthroat bidding war to secure her post-Olympic endorsement and ultimately emerged victorious. Here stands a 20-year-old Oakland native who typically hunts for second-hand vintage bargains, a former prodigy whose rink outfits once drained her father's humble life savings, now draped by one of Earth's priciest labels at the world's most heavily documented spectacles. She has yet to publicly verify any official luxury contract. Frankly, words are unnecessary. The flashbulbs paint the picture, yet her daring garment unexpectedly unmasked a completely different secret. It exposed a detail concealed by every high-necked skating uniform and conservative press tour garment she had donned over the 24 days following her golden triumph in Milan. A permanent design etched across her spine. She confronted the mystery head-on during a wildly candid Teen Vogue sit-down on March 12th. She revealed, "That spinal piece was my very first leap into getting inked, and it features some truly flawless symmetry. It sits dead center, mirroring one my closest confidant has. We took the plunge at 18, using a custom sketch from another buddy, which just gives it so much soul. An entirely bespoke masterpiece, intimately sketched by a trusted companion. a secret twin design shared with her closest ally, securely hidden beneath competition spandex where zero judges could ever glimpse it. She secured it at age 18, exactly 2 years into her temporary ice exile, right when she was quietly forging the robust, independent life necessary to orchestrate a comeback, strictly on her own uncompromising terms. Consider the profound gravity behind that exact timeline. She was merely 18, having entirely walked away from the rink for 2 full years. She was instead roaming the UCLA campus, burying herself deeply into heavy psychology textbooks. Armed with a fresh driver's license and limitless autonomy, she chose to drive her best friend to a parlor for permanent, deeply personal artwork, drawn by an inner-circle confidant, a custom creation, a wildly unique emblem existing nowhere else on the globe, a fiercely guarded treasure belonging entirely to her and one chosen soul. That hidden patch of ink serves as the ultimate relic from the very era that made her legendary resurrection entirely possible. It represents a healing chapter defined by 8 full hours of rest, 3 solid meals daily, and the unwavering warmth of deeply cherished friends. Those were the unseen, untelevised days she credits with literally salvaging her sanity, the quiet interlude when the sports universe temporarily lost her, allowing her to brilliantly reconstruct herself from the shadows. Yet, those exact moments defined her entire existence, shaping her soul far more deeply than any athletic triumph ever could. As she stepped into the Vanity Fair Oscars party, her stunning backless gown revealed a profound mark, a permanent testament to that very era of her life. Resting silently down her spine, the ink mirrored her closest confidant's design, crafted with absolute devotion by a cherished loved one. To truly comprehend the absolute whirlwind of her last 6 days, one must trace every single step of this unbelievable journey. It all ignited on March 10th, amidst the blinding flashes of Paris Fashion Week. There she was, claiming the front row at the breathtaking Louis Vuitton showcase at the Louvre, seated right beside Zendaya for her absolute first taste of high fashion. Just a day prior, she had candidly confessed to W Magazine her complete cluelessness about the runway world, only to find herself transported to Oakland's Frank Ogawa Plaza by March 12th. A beautifully forged key to the city, crafted as a magnificent oak tree by West Oakland's master artisans at the Crucible, awaited her while Kehlani set the stage ablaze. Kehlani boldly crowned her the absolute greatest of all time right then and there, right before Adeyemi Lewis delivered a spectacular live rendition of MacArthur Park. Stephen Curry beamed in a heartfelt video tribute. Christy Yamaguchi shared moving words, and the champion herself hoisted 2 shimmering gold medals, declaring to the roaring crowd that the victory belonged to them. When pressed by a journalist for a final, parting thought, she delivered a fiercely simple 2-word response. "It's Oakland," she declared, before the magnificent whirlwind swept her to Los Angeles on March 15th. The afternoon glow saw her gracing the Elton John AIDS Foundation's glamorous viewing affair, paving the way for a dazzling night at the Vanity Fair Oscars bash, hosted at the Los Angeles County Museum of Art. Draped in a striking backless Louis Vuitton mini, she proudly showcased the fierce ink from her brief retirement, all while savoring catered In-N-Out burgers behind the scenes. In a mere 6 days, the young phenom conquered Paris, swept through Oakland, and captivated Los Angeles, dominating 3 wildly contrasting realms unlike anything she had ever encountered. She had stepped into 3 entirely distinct universes since her legendary golden triumph in Milan, yet she remained flawlessly, authentically herself through every single moment. The Vanity Fair Spectacular also hosted a heartwarming collision of worlds, as she beautifully reconnected with a fellow Olympian from the ice. Every glowing smile and tight embrace of that beautiful reunion was eagerly captured by the relentless paparazzi swarming the red carpet. The very same skating brotherhood that witnessed her golden Milan victory from Amber Glenn standing guard at the boards to those pre-skate thumbs-ups and her frantic dash to Amina Kai was alive and well. That fiercely loyal community manifested right there at the Vanity Fair Gala, embodied by those who had fought and bled on that freezing arena floor together. Meanwhile, Amber Glenn and Isabeau Levito were grinding away in Prague, gearing up for the brutal World Championships launching on March 24th. The Ice Prince Ilia Malinin had also descended upon Prague. The relentless, punishing competitive season was boldly marching forward without its golden queen. Having famously bowed out just 10 days prior with a casual promise for next season, she had since conquered Paris, electrified Oakland, and crashed the Oscars. Her dramatic return to the fiercely competitive ice wouldn't unfold until the autumn winds blew, but first, she was destined to headline Stars on Ice, igniting Fort Myers on April 16th. 26 spectacular, adrenaline-fueled performances would follow across the nation, culminating on May 31st in South Haven, Mississippi. What exactly follows an Oscars after-party for a 20-year-old Marvel who skyrocketed from 220,000 followers to 7.7 million in a staggering 3 weeks remains a beautiful, thrilling mystery she is just beginning to solve. As this absolute madness unfolded, the internet erupted over a spectacular post from Pink Pantheress. The sensational Pink Pantheress, known to the world offstage as Victoria Beverly Walker, had also brought her magic to the legendary Vanity Fair bash. She took to Instagram to scream about Stateside, the very track that had fueled the skater's breathtaking Olympic gala routine, proudly announcing it had seized the #1 spot on the US Spotify charts. The artist marveled that her anthem had conquered the Olympic ice, proving that wildest dreams truly materialize. The very beat that carried our champion's gala skate now dominated America's Spotify rankings. That astonishing ripple effect is the true testament to her Milan triumph, an event where she violently snatched 2 dazzling gold medals. She poured her soul into 3 different tracks on the ice, and a full month later, every single one of those anthems is still ferociously climbing the musical charts. Streams for Promise by Laufey exploded by 67% following her golden victory, while the MacArthur Park suite surged, and Pink Pantheress's Stateside featuring Zara Larsson completely obliterated the US Spotify charts at #1. When she waltzed into that Vanity Fair extravaganza, she wasn't merely an athlete trying to dip her toes into the dazzling pool of Hollywood entertainment. She arrived as an absolute force of nature who had already single-handedly revolutionized the entertainment realm simply by pouring her heart out to her favorite tunes before 15,000 screaming souls in Milan. The brilliant musicians, blessed by her choreographic choices, now sit proudly atop the Spotify throne. Elite fashion empires, whose garments she effortlessly brought to life, are now practically begging to sign her as their global ambassador. She strutted into an exclusive gala that has documented the planet's most godlike celebrities for generations, and her very first utterly iconic priority was hunting down the rumored In-N-Out burgers. She rapidly morphed into an absolute cultural icon, fiercely recognized for her daring frenulum piercing and that mesmerizing, angelic halo of vibrant hair. Her spellbinding ensemble for the stateside Olympic exhibition drew direct, powerful inspiration from the legendary character Madoka Kaname of the Puella Magi Madoka Magica anime universe. She fiercely defended her bold choice, declaring her obsession with the silhouette and proudly admitting she had devoured the colorful, stunningly artistic series not once, but twice. That beautifully nerdy, fiercely independent choice stands as the absolute purest manifestation of her wildly unique identity within the cutthroat universe of high fashion. She descended upon the Vanity Fair Oscars gala wrapped in Louis Vuitton magic. Structural shoulders and silver embellishments clashed beautifully against midnight hosiery and impossibly sharp stilettos. Yet, she joyfully modeled her Olympic exhibition wardrobe after a Japanese animation icon, fueled simply by unadulterated fan obsession. Both realities belonged to her completely. Neither was a fabricated masquerade. She fiercely embraced her personal passions, dressed purely for joy, and spoke unapologetic truths. Consequently, society consistently crowned her the absolute most magnetic force, gracing whatever space she occupied. She openly declared a profound paradox, feeling deeply intertwined with the universe, yet refusing to let a single earthly anchor bind her. A fleeting phantom drifting through that famous Oscars bash. Etched across her spine lay permanent ink, a monument honoring the brutal era that ultimately secured her survival. That breathtaking Louis Vuitton garment was no mere fabric. It whispered of a budding, historic alliance with the globe's absolute most legendary couture empire. Surrounded by an ocean of Hollywood royalty, her soul gravitated entirely toward a quiet, beautiful reunion with a deeply cherished companion. She crossed the threshold. She existed unapologetically as her truest spirit. She vanished into the night. That straightforward narrative remained the ultimate truth. Frankly, It was the only saga she had ever needed to live.